speaker for the evening has come all the way from Washington, D.C. Let's give Charles Greene III, I'm sorry, III, a big round of applause.
As a professional magician for more than 30 years, I've learned that people ask the same questions of me as a magician. When did you start? Is anyone else in your family a magician? And can you make my spouse disappear? You wanted to ask me those questions, I know. I've also learned that magicians are a limited number of people. Actually, there are lots of them, but people can only name 3 or 4 magicians at any time. Think of it. Think of all the magicians you know. You're thinking of Doug Henning. You're thinking of David Blaine. There's Penn and Teller, Chris Angel. Maybe Blackstone, but there's one magician who's on everyone's list all over the world. And that magician's name is? Houdini. That's right, Houdini. Now, Houdini's been dead for more than 90 years. No one in this room saw him perform, yet his name is inescapable. Everyone knows the name Houdini. Now, Houdini came from, that's not his real name. His real name is Eric Weiss. He added an I to the end of Houdin. Robert Houdin was a French magician, named as, or known as the father of modern magic. Thus we have Houdini. Harry comes from his family's way of saying Eric as Harry. Thus Harry Houdini was born, the name, in the United States. The magician, Eric Weiss, was born in Budapest in 1874. When he was 4 years old, his family emigrated to Appleton, Wisconsin. The family had a hard time finding work there, and so Harry performed his first magic trick and actually escaped to New York City to find fame and fortune, and find that he did. There he performed on Coney Island with his brother Theo. The act was called The Houdini Brothers. It was also there that Harry met the future Mrs. Houdini, Bess. Harry was 19, Bess was 17, the brother Theo was soon out of the act. The new act was called The Houdinis. Their famous trick was called metamorphosis. You've seen it, it's a Houdini invention. Houdini the magician was locked and shackled and thrown inside of a box. Bess was on the outside. In 3 seconds they changed places, metamorphosis, right before your eyes. Now Houdini was a good magician, but he was a better escape artist. When he hung upside down just a block from the White House, over 100,000 people gathered to watch him do it. At the time, it was the largest gathering in Washington, D.C. outside of a presidential inauguration. Now, Houdini was known for his escapes. He would challenge people. Lock me in your safe. Toss me into your box. I can get out. And he always did. He was even sewn into the belly of a whale, and he escaped. I know. Pretty amazing, isn't it? I just saw a whale. That's what I want to know. But his most famous escape is probably known as the water torture cell, another Houdini invention. In this escape, Houdini was shackled at the ankles and then hoisted upside down. He was lowered into a narrow tank of water. He could not turn himself right side up. Yet night after night, he escaped from this hard to imagine impossible situation. The only thing that almost got the better of him was the death of his mother. In life, he was devoted to her. In death, he was devastated. He actually gave up performing for a period of time. But then he escaped his sorrow with newfound energy, looked for new challenges that were even greater. Gravity. After the Wright brothers flew their plane at Kitty Hawk, Houdini bought his own plane, took it to the continent of Australia, and there in 1910 became the first person to make a successful flight on the continent. The Australian government eventually commemorated the event with a national stamp. Now, if Houdini were alive today, he would be heavy into social media. The social media of his day was film. Houdini starred in 5 major pictures. He even had his own film production company. So great was his work in film that Hollywood gave him a star on their Walk of Fame. Now, in 1953, Houdini continued to be legendized by Hollywood. 1953, Tony Curtis, Janet Leigh starred in the film Houdini. It did a lot to spread his fame all over the world, but it also spread some false rumors. In the film, Houdini dies in a water torture cell. That's not true. Houdini never died in one of his escapes. Houdini's death starts in a Montreal dressing room where he was punched in the abdomen. That punch ruptured his appendix. He kept performing. Several days later, in Detroit, Michigan, he died. Halloween night, 1926. Now, Houdini is dead, and he's buried in New York City, where all the crazy people are. Every year they hold a seance to see if he will communicate from the dead. Darcy, he never does. But they keep trying. At his funeral, they called him one of the truly great men of the age. I believe Houdini is one of the truly great men of the ages and will know his name for hundreds of years to come. Why? Today, there are tens of thousands of books, articles, and magazines about his story. Go on the web, do a search, you'll find hundreds of products that are named after Houdini that have nothing to do with magic. Houdini corkscrews, Houdini hardware stores, Houdini personal vibration items. Really, it's true. Look it up yourself. Now, so why does Houdini remain with us? That was too much of a familiar laugh, man. Why does Houdini remain with us? Because he faced challenges head on. He looked at them and said, that's where I'm going to go. I want to do that. He conquered everything that came towards him. He escaped from everything that was dangerous, and he found a better place. Who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to overcome every single challenge that's presented to them? Who doesn't? And who hasn't wanted to be in a better place, to escape, to find a different place? Who hasn't heard of the native story of all immigrants coming to America, rising above their station? Houdini did this and became an international icon. His name is in the dictionary, yet he started off with nothing. That's a great story. If Houdini were alive today, he would say 6 minutes and 40 seconds to tell the story of my life. Why so short?